First of all, I just want to say that I'm relieved that you and the rest of our lawmakers are okay. Did you have any security concerns beforehand?
Oh no, I did not. I came into the office building yesterday morning, and it was a quiet morning. Walked up to the building, walked through my regular security station, and into the office I came.
Describe your experience. What was it like when that started happening?
Well, as I said, when I came into work yesterday morning, it was very quiet. So as we started our business, to get from the office to the Capitol, I just went underground in one of the tunnels. And so I had no idea how many people were in town and where they were located. I was going to the House floor to conduct my business. And so we were starting to go through the process of counting these electoral votes. And once we hit Arizona and the objection was made by a senator and a House member, they broke us up to go back from the joint session back to our individual chambers. And we started debate on the merits of the resolution, or the objection, if you will. And I don't know, maybe an hour into it, I saw some security folks come in, and they took Nancy Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, from the House chambers, and then the Capitol Police came on the intercom system and said that they had an understanding that there may have been a breach in the Capitol security, and put us in recess momentarily. And shortly thereafter, they thought they had cured it, and we resumed our debate again. And then they came on a second time and said, there has been a breach, positively has been a breach into the Capitol, and everybody should stay calm but be prepared to evacuate the room. And then they started debate a second time because they said that we were able to. And then the third time, which was very shortly thereafter, he came back on and said, no, there's been a breach. The protesters have actually made it to the rotunda. They had utilized tear gas. They directed each of us to grab the face mask and the hoods that are underneath each of our seats. And so they're in another container, so everybody started reaching under their seats. And he said, now we're going to lock down the chamber, and we're going to get everyone to evacuate the room as swiftly as possible. Now people are starting to get upset. I mean, we've got a lot of women in there. There's a lot of elderly people in there. And so everybody starts getting a little bit unhinged. The doors around the gallery, there's a lot of doors that are all the way around the gallery. They started slamming those doors and locking them down. And every time they would slam a door, people, you could see that their nerves were on edge. They weren't sure if there was a firearm being discharged. So I was doing my very best to help people get their gas masks on, to go ahead and get them opened up, to get the flow of traffic out of the room. And once most of the folks were about out of the room, then I went ahead and joined in with them and exited the room. Once we exited the House chambers and we got into the hallway, that's the first time that I saw some of the demonstrators. They were behind a door that had already been locked and secured, and they were like pounding on that. And then they whisked us, the rest of us, out of that area and got us to a secure location. And then I find out that our apartment building, where my wife was, had also been evacuated. There had been a bomb threat, so I'm trying to make sure that I stay in touch with her. And then I obviously want to make sure, because I have no idea, okay, where the protesters are and what they're doing. I want to make sure that my staff is okay, so I started texting with them. And then as we left our secure location, I was able to get back to my office, make sure my staff was okay. Then we locked down right here at the office. My wife was okay. She was back in the apartment. And then we stayed here in a lockdown mode in the office for about another 3 plus hours, until the leadership made the decision, which I'm very pleased that they did, for us to go ahead and complete our job on the House floor.
Let me ask you, since demonstrators were actually to breach our Capitol, how concerning is that? This could have been far worse.
Oh, it could have been. I mean, and many times it's like, a lot of things can be a lot worse. I try to look on the positive side of things. I don't like the idea that people did penetrate the Capitol, that were looking to conduct violence. That is not good. But the Capitol Police did do their job. They kept us safe. No members of the House or Senate were harmed and had any direct contact that I'm aware of with any of the protesters. So they were able to get us out of there and maintain our security.
A lot of your fellow lawmakers have pointed the blame directly at President Trump for this. Do you think he deserves any of the blame?
The people who committed the acts of violence must take responsibility for their actions, which are completely contrary to the peaceful process that our government provides, and that's what I look to. We have a process in place, and it is to change law, it is to make law. And we also have the First Amendment that gives people the ability to go out and protest and to speak freely. But when they start committing crimes, they are violating other people's rights, and that we cannot allow.
You don't think he fanned the flames, though?
No, people need to take responsibility for their own actions, Ross. They have to.
Let me get back to opposing the certification in those two states, something that has earned you both cheers and jeers, I guess. What's been the reaction from your constituents back here in Montana?
It's split, and I anticipated as much. But the people of Montana elected me not to check the winds of polls on a daily basis. What they did was elect me to come up here, to listen to information, to evaluate it with the best of my ability, and then to cast a vote. And when I sat there on the floor, I listened to the discussions about the numerous, extensive, credible allegations of fraud and irregularities that took place in Arizona and in Pennsylvania, and that's why I voted to oppose those or reject those electors. We do not. I do not want the federal government to take the step where they are dictating to the states how they are to conduct their elections. The federal government should not be involved in that process. But if states do not conduct their elections in a safe and secure manner, it is up to us to reject the results of those electors, and I think that's where we were. It's very important that people understand that what the process yesterday was about, for me anyway, was not about President Trump. It was not about Vice President Biden. It was about preserving the integrity of our elections, and that is what I'm focused on. And so going forward, I hope that it gives us the ability to make sure that we do have safe and secure elections and that we can ensure the integrity of them.
Do you think this is going to be a difficult transition when Joe Biden takes the Oval Office?
I do not. Joe Biden is going to be inaugurated and sworn in as the 46th President of the United States on January 20th, and then we're going to get back to work again. I mean, we've got some work to do between now and then, but on the 20th, he's going to go in, and everybody we'll see what agenda he lays out for us. I've got some things that I want to work on.
And I want to ask you about that. What's your priorities?
I'm still very focused on healthcare. Healthcare issues are not going away, Ross. We still have a long ways to go to make sure that we have affordable, high-quality healthcare for everyone and make sure that we continue to cover these pre-existing conditions. And I implemented, as I'm sure you're aware, a lot of changes in the state of Montana at the state level, and there are some additional things that I want to work on at the federal level to improve that situation. I am really concerned about our southern border and some of these immigration issues. The word is now that we have 3 caravans that are already headed towards the southern border, and I am really concerned on the impact that that's going to have, not just on the southern states. You've heard these discussions before. When we start looking at human trafficking and the drug trafficking and how that hurts our reservations and the communities that are surrounding them, this is a major concern of mine.
Before I hang up on you, anything else, Congressman, that you want to mention?
I just would like to say that I really, really appreciate all of the feedback that I do receive from folks. We're not always going to agree, but I do need that feedback so that I know what is most important to the people, and I want to make sure that they continue to reach out to me and my staff here at the office, and I'm going to be back in the district as much and as often as I possibly can to make sure that I am serving them as good as possible.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to talk with us, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you so much, Russ.